everybody, and welcome back to Real Estate of Mind. I am your host, Jamie Austin, and we love having you here. So today we have a guest, Kristen Kilmer, who is an interior designer and wellness designer, which is something a little different, and it's just not your average interior designer. Welcome to the show, Kristen.
Thank you, Jamie. I'm so happy to be here.
Yay, me too. Now, I have to say, Kristen is also one of our trusted, vetted partners in my business, which we find as real estate agents over the years. We don't recommend businesses, partly for liability reasons, but other reasons why is we just really want to feel very, very comfortable with clients referring people that have businesses. So we go to the problem, I wouldn't say it's a problem, but we go to the trouble to actually vet people who've worked with these businesses. And Kristen's was one of those that it was like people could not, they couldn't wait to talk about how fabulous she was fast enough. I mean, it was like we were sitting there taking all the calls and it was like, oh my God, she's amazing. Like I thought of things I would have never thought of in my space. And so I love that. And I love introducing that into the world of interior design. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
So I take not only a building biology approach to interior design, which means all the healthy building materials, non-toxic finishes, circadian lighting, really proper air quality, all of that gets taken into consideration from the building biology standpoint. But then I also take a beautiful aesthetics and energetic approach based on the elements of earth, air, fire, water, and metal. So I'm kind of combining the Eastern and Western elements. And I was kind of doing this like on autopilot for years. And then when COVID hit, I was asked to do a seminar and I just kind of had this aha moment. It's like, oh yeah, it is really important to balance these things out, especially because just like our bodies are bio-individual, so are our homes and how they affect us individually. So like some people might need more grounding in their homes. Some people might need a little bit more fire for inspiration, creativity in their offices. So I really take all that into consideration. So that people can really thrive and, I design for, where people are going and who they're becoming.
I love that. So one thing that I find really interesting just to ask a question is that there are some items that are probably in people's homes that people assume are completely harmless. So what is one item that you would say that actually is not harmless and that actually can affect people's health every single day that they might not know about is in their home today?
Well, there's a few.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna say a couple things. So first of all, it's clutter.
Ah.
Everyone knows that they have to purge and they
Mhm.
don't. But purging is so important because not only is it good just for your energetic field, just because nature abhors a vacuum, but you have to realize that there's so much particulate matter that gets stuck on all of that stuff.
Oh,
And
absolutely,
so
100%.
when we have porous homes, like materials and even drywall and things like that, that particulate matter can kind of get stuck in the walls. And so it compounds over time. So when people ask me, like, what's the first thing I should do to like really create a healthy home? I'm like, purge. Because it's
Ah,
easy and it's free. And
yeah.
also things contain energy. Like I always say, when you purge, do it with a friend because memories come up, nostalgia, some really great ones.
Sentimentality.
Yeah, and they'd be like, "Oh, I can't get rid of this." So it's like
I
I had a
had paid
girlfriend.
for
She's
the
like,
concert ticket. Oh my
"I
God, I gotta save
know."
it.
My girlfriend used to when I did it, she'd be like, "Let it go," like she would sing to me.
Ah,
So
I
that's
love that.
one. The other one would be shoes. Like we have no business wearing shoes in our house because imagine everything that's outside that's getting caught in our shoes that's coming into our house. So just all that again, these positive ions that just get stuck, all that particular matter just runs right into our house. And I would also say like clean your pet's paws too, because they're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
chomping and everything, and we don't realize it. And again, compound over time. And then the third thing, everyone knows this: Amazon boxes and paper bags, because they
Oh,
have A, mold, and B, formaldehyde. And again, you might
ah,
not notice it right now, but things compound over time. And I did a presentation last week and I said, I don't really have a girlfriend that is not dealing with some sort of health issue right now. And that's
oh,
unfortunately not
interesting.
great. So,
Interesting.
it's these things, environmental toxins affect our home, our health over time. And I don't want to be doom and gloom because there's a lot of power things that we can do to make it a lot easier
Yeah.
to alleviate that toxic load.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Do you think that someone who is not like that, that's not their field, but do you think that someone can walk into a home and they can tell the difference between a healthy or an unhealthy home, even if they can't necessarily articulate those exact reasons why? Do you think that energetically people, yeah,
1000%. Yeah,
okay.
it's just like when you go into an office, you're like, oh my God, that you can cut the energy in this room. Like when you feel it when someone's had a fight. I had a,
Yeah.
there's this like child mentor online that says, arguments are actually an entity because that energy stays in the house. So you can also consider that when it comes to objects, decor, and then just like not healthy air circulation because that stagnant energy and that stagnant air stays in the home and you might not be able to pinpoint it,
But you can
but
still
it's
kind of
definitely there.
tell. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Um, I was just going to say there was something else. I know that you pay attention to everything like from paint to mattresses. So, what are we getting wrong about the places and the spaces that we sleep in?
So that's a big thing because so many people deal with insomnia. So um, people should not have their cell phones in their bedroom. Like even if it's on airplane mode, it's still blasting radio frequencies. So I always say, put your phone in airplane room, have it in the other room, turn your Wi-Fi off at night. If you forget, you can put one of those timers on for the Christmas lights on Amazon for $10, and that'll automatically turn things off. And then you can also a lot of people and new builds are installing cutoff switches where you can just like cut off the power, but you can actually buy outlet cutoff switches and turn them off.
Huh,
Also, metal
interesting.
beds create also radioactive frequencies. So
Wow, I
just
didn't even think it. So, like, just the fact that it's out of the material itself
yeah,
is, yeah, it's going to
yeah.
create sort of like
Hmm.
an attraction. Okay.
Yeah, and you do want some cross breeze, and then and then another thing I always say, an easy swap is linen bedding. It gets softer over time, and they have actually calibrated, and it calibrates at 5,000 hertz, it actually heals the body. They used to have linen sheets in hospitals a way long time ago, and they swapped them out. And cotton is good, but it doesn't have the healing properties of linen, and it lasts and lasts. So those little things will help tremendously. So the more stimulus you get out of your bedroom, the better. And then of course I say make it beautiful to the elements that are good for you. I like yin fire in my bedroom because it's like kind of those hidden embers in your heart, right? It's creative, but it's calming and it puts you in parasympathetic. So
Does that sort of denote a color type as well?
well, yin fire, like fire element, you think of the oranges and the reds and that creativity and the upward flames, and that's great for like offices or creative spaces. But
Right.
yin fire is more like lavender and lotus points and burnished metal
Oh,
and more common. Like you think of embers, right? That
okay.
type of
Yeah.
fire, like when a fire is going
Grayish,
out.
purple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Oh,
last
I
thing I'll
love
say
that.
is no TVs in the room. Like TVs are meant for family outside of the room. Bed is for parasympathetic calming. So I still struggle with, having my phone in my room. I'm really trying to keep it out, but some nights
Yeah.
I fail.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
definitely my general rule is I keep them out, you know.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
now I'm
Okay.
9 times out of 10, so it becomes a habit.
Well, listen, like, so where would you say would people start? Like, this is so important, and it can be a little overwhelming for somebody that doesn't know like how to do this or where to even begin. So, if somebody particular, what would be some advice that you would give to somebody that doesn't really maybe have a large sum to do a huge renovation? What are three things that you think people could actually start to do in their home right now today that would make a big difference towards their health?
Well, some of the things that I already said, taking your shoes off, keeping your Amazon boxes on a porch or patio, keeping them out of the house, and purging are definitely some of the
Yeah.
top, and getting clutter. If they're having, feeling that there's health issues, I would say get a standalone air purifier. If you have a good HVAC system, I still recommend a dehumidifier and a standalone air purifier. I like to use Austin Air and keeping it at the proper levels. I think 40 to 60 humidity is good depending on the season. I also would say if you're in California or it's a place where you can have cross breeze, keeping those windows open so you get that cross breeze. And then other things are easy, like essential oils. They actually have antimicrobial properties, antibacterial properties, tea tree oil, thieves oil. If they're pure medical grade, like from doTERRA, they actually will purify the air and also offer different benefits, for calming the nervous system. I could go on. And also, okay, circadian lighting. I'm just going to say a little bit
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
If you can't afford to do a whole like lighting reset, at least get bulbs that are healthier for your body. So a lot of
Yeah.
LED lights that we're required to have in California, they flicker, and that
Yeah.
flickering, hits the hypothalamus and it stops and halters melatonin production, especially the blue
Drives
light
me
at night.
nuts. I'm very sensitive. Like I really honestly I prefer incandescent lighting because of
Yeah.
that. There's something about the new LED, but I know that we got to play the game and we have LED lights.
Hmm.
But is
So
there a brand or a certain type or something? 'Cause
waveform. We've actually tested it, and I actually was on a call this morning. There's a company called Color Beam that does LED circadian lighting, but they just do recessed and strip lighting. And I've been begging them to let me design fixtures for them. But
yeah.
in the meantime, and so one of the engineers said, I've got a proposition for you. We're going to test them. So that'll be coming out in
Oh
part two
wow.
of our talk. But for now, a
Nice.
company called Waveform.
Waveform.
Waveform is non-flickering LEDs. They're the best we can find so far. And then if you can get anyone to ship you bulbs, I really like Chromolux, which is a full spectrum bulb. They're made from neodymium, from lasers. And so
Okay.
they actually mimic the sun as much as possible.
Oh my God, I
So
love
blue
that.
light is okay during the day a little bit, but after 5, forget it.
Yeah,
Amber
there's something
bulbs.
about white or blue light or something that just it irritates my eyes. So it's interesting. Like it's like the calmer, like the more
Mhm.
yellow light is like something that I just feel better, more
Yeah.
comfortable, warmer. So and it's interesting that you'd think light would have that big of a difference, but it does. Like it's the same reason why even as a kid I couldn't stand fluorescent lighting in schools.
Oh,
Like I
well,
just
fluorescent lighting is scientifically proven to cause depression. Like they've done
ah
multiple studies, and that's where it's in our workspaces and our schools for children. It's just, to me, it's preposterous.
yeah, you're like that's the
But
worst thing you could give them.
yeah, and the same with blue light. Blue light's fine a little bit during the day, but then, it does stop melatonin production, and melatonin is what prevents the cytokine storm. And the cytokine storm happens when you have COVID. Your lungs flood. So
Oh
it's
wow.
more of a health thing than people realize. And then, not to mention the flickering that can hit the hypothalamus, and it's known to cause seizures. So again, I don't want to be doom and gloom because there's so
Yeah.
many good solutions out there.
Yep.
And then I just say keep your overhead lights off at night and just do the bulbs. And again, Waveform has those, so lots of
And
good
I love
solutions.
that. Well, the last couple of questions that I want to ask you are something that I ask every single guest that's on the podcast. And so, and it gets a little bit away from the business side of it and gets like the people to get to know a little bit more about you. So, I will start with question number one. What is a house, room, or place that you've been in that changed the that changed the direction of your life instantly?
Well, it's kind of sad, but it's also like things don't happen to you, they happen for you. But
Yeah.
me living in a house with toxic mold, it took down my health.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
I found out through all of my studies and getting help and talking to all the experts, it really changed the trajectory because I was like, I'm not going to do anything but healthy builds from now on because so many people are suffering and they're being gaslit and people don't know. And now all of a sudden it's become a timely topic. And I really believe that, people say, where do you work? I said, I work nationally because, I'm so specialized. And I thought, I don't want to be specialized. This should be standard building practices. We should all be living in healthy, breathable living homes. We're not supposed to be in these like toxic boxes wearing rubber shoes. That we've lost our connection with nature. So on that side, that really changed the trajectory of me getting so sick. But then also Dow Gardens in Thailand and a retreat center in Costa Rica. I'm terrible with names, but just being in these beautiful environments where we were connected to nature, where the food was grown there, and you're in community, like that really prompted me to like want to start with the regenerative building and the healthy home communities.
That makes big sense. You're the second person that said that their space was outside in nature. And I think that's interesting because we think as, city dwellers and or even in the like most people think of dwellings, right?
Mhm.
But actually space is just that. It's space outside of. And so you're the second person that's actually brought that up, which I love. Because yeah, I think there is that disconnect between nature and our space, and I think we can bring nature in, which is why I've always like been a big fan of plants and things to like,
Mhm.
make your home inside outside. And it's really interesting you say that about having a cross breeze Because sometimes when it gets too hot, we close our windows, but for the most part, I'm the happiest when I can always smell fresh air. Like
Totally.
going in my house, I keep my windows open for the most part. And there's only really a couple of weeks in California where we have to, because it gets that hot. But for the most part, if I can leave the windows open, that's the way I'm going to go. So that's
Yeah.
interesting you even brought that up. That's
Can
great.
I say something about plants real quick?
Absolutely.
Because in the mold community, a lot of people are afraid of plants in the house, even though they're scientifically proven to help purify the air. And so there's a lot of things that you can do to make your plants really, really healthy in the home. First of all, you want to quarantine them a little bit from your other plants when you get them, if you get them from a regular nursery, unless you're going to an organic place. You want to immediately change out the soil. And the reason why terracotta pots are so popular is because they actually have that breathability. And
Uh-huh.
then rather than having like moss or things that are wet on it, you want to get like really good mineral rocks in there with the soil, and that'll actually help the breathability of the plants. And so that'll really will improve the air quality in your home. So even when you have the window shut, you'll be able to feel that difference.
I love that. That's great. Second question is, are you, Kristen, in your forever home? And if you are, how did you know you were? And if you're not, maybe the better question to ask is what's the next chapter of your life that you're building? What does that look
That's
like?
so interesting. I'm not in my forever home because
Okay.
I left Austin. I was in California for 20 years, left to go to Austin to learn about regenerative building and healthy building practices, and now missed California so much. So I'm in my forever home in the sense that like my connection to nature is what's feeding me right now. I'm in
You can
Laguna
go
Beach.
outside pretty much all year round, right? And get fed
Yeah.
by
And
nature.
I'm
Yeah.
like, and I chose to rent right now because for me it was more important to be really close to the beach with barefoot in the sand, eyes in
Yeah.
the sun every single day. I'm literally going to go after this because I've been working all morning, so I
Uh-huh.
can go right there. So, but eventually I'm going to want to buy again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unless, you know, I mean, it could really take off, but Laguna Beach is definitely, for a single person, is not that affordable right by the beach. I
Right,
mean, the
right,
average
right.
household income, what is it, 5 million for the average house?
It starts at I think somewhere around 3.6 and then goes up from there. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
and a 3.6 is like 1,000 square foot home. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
like
And that just doesn't seem, I don't want to buy into that, plus property taxes and that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm always like, I have so many other people's property to deal with. I don't want to deal with my
yeah,
own.
yeah. And that
So
could
I'm
just be the
excited for
shift
the
for
next
now, and
chapter.
then that could change. I mean, your chapters are changing, right? It doesn't mean that you fix the next chapter has to be fixed, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I have investment properties in Wisconsin where I'm from. I might go back there for the summer. I can't live there all year round, you
Yeah.
know.
The
Um,
winters are brutal.
yeah.
This
So
is
I'm,
why we love
yeah,
Southern California for that reason, for sure.
exactly. So
Oh,
that's
I
a really
love
good
it.
question. So I'm just kind of leaving it up to spirit and my higher self and to see where I end up. But I'm really happy here. I'm so glad I'm back in Southern California. I got to meet you and all these amazing people, and yeah, it's
Yep, yep,
special.
we love meeting you too. Thank you. Well, you have been an absolute delightful guest, and that's some great tips. And look, like I think the takeaway is like you don't have to spend a lot of money, but I think it's like you can maybe make it a process, right? Start with decluttering, start with taking your shoes off in your home, get a cross breeze going, get a humidifier going, maybe check out some circadian lighting. I mean, there's could be some small fixes along the way, and I think that that's even what I've started to do in my home is start to take away anything that the microplastics. How can we like start to about even products in the home, like cleaning products and laundry products and all of that stuff.
1,000%. And even there's a
Small.
lot of zero VOC paints that don't off gas, but I still don't believe in those as much as I do mineral-based paints or lime washes because that they help purify the air. And what you said about microplastics, I mean, even though we don't have the VOCs, that small particulate matter can get in every little crevice, and you're eventually breathing it in. And everyone is just loaded with that right now.
Yep, yep. So
So
we're trying to see the bright side, but make the small changes that'll make a difference. Well,
exactly.
thank you so much for coming on. And hopefully, if there's anything new and stellar that runs across your path, reach out to me and we'll have you back on. And in the meantime, thank you everybody for checking in Real Estate of Mind. We love having you here. And if there's something that we haven't covered, DM us and let us know, and I will try to make it happen for you. So until next time, we'll see you. Jamie Austin, Real Estate of Mind.